Thank you to Peggy Blumenthal and your team at the Institute of International Education for this year's Open Doors survey, which the State Department has supported since 1972. I would also like to congratulate Mohammed Abdelkader, who recently started his position as Deputy Assistant Secretary for International and Foreign Language Education in the Office of Post-Secondary Education at the Department of Education. I know Mohammed is here. I saw him a moment ago. Ah, there he is. Thank you for joining us this morning, Mohammed. Before I begin, please allow me to introduce a message from Secretary of Education Arne Duncan, which highlights this year's theme, International Education is for Everyone.
Hello, I'm Arne Duncan, the U.S. Secretary of Education, and this year marks the 15th anniversary of International Education Week, a time dedicated to recognizing and celebrating the important role education plays worldwide. Since the inception of International Education Week in November 2000, events on the world stage, both awe-inspiring and deeply tragic, have reminded us of our undeniable connections to each other. Over the past 15 years, the ways in which citizens interact with each other, both in our own countries and with those from other nations, have fundamentally changed, especially as we continue to redefine what it means to be neighbors in an increasingly interdependent world. All of us, educators, parents, policymakers, and world leaders desire a bright and happy future for our children and our nations. Education must help to ensure that future. It is the one true path out of poverty that leads towards opportunity. Education can also put students on track for success, regardless of background, culture, or privilege. And education promotes cultural understanding, social development, and our world's economic health. Ultimately, improving education worldwide is a win-win for all of us. President Obama and I know that nothing is more important than supporting students, teachers in our nation's schools. The Obama administration is profoundly committed to providing all of our students, not just some, with the opportunity to have access to high-quality education that they both need and deserve. And this year, as we do every single year, we renew our commitment to highlighting and celebrating the benefits and values of international education and international exchanges. We can and we must provide all students with an outstanding education here at home, but we can also encourage students around the world to broaden their horizons through programs such as Study Abroad. This week and every week, I hope you'll find ways to encourage and promote the shared global mission of making sure that every child in every country receives a world-class education.
So thank you, Secretary Duncan, for that message today. It is an honor for me to be here and represent the Department of State in welcoming you all to this briefing about the scope and impact of international student mobility. This year marks the 15th anniversary of International Education Week, jointly sponsored by the U.S. Department of State and the Department of Education. This event is the kickoff event for hundreds of International Education Week programs worldwide. Educational institutions, local governments, community organizations, embassies, individuals, and private organizations are hosting events in celebration of the benefits of international educational exchange. International education builds and sustains a more democratic, secure, and prosperous world that benefits the American people and the international community. It strengthens ties between the United States and countries all over the world, advancing U.S. foreign policy goals and developing relationships between people and communities that are necessary to solve global challenges. Through international study, students cross socioeconomic, cultural, political, religious, and geographic borders. International students enrich classrooms, campuses, and communities in ways that endure long after students return to their home countries. These individuals develop an understanding of other values and perspectives, which they will carry with them for the rest of their lives. And it is increasingly accessible to traditionally marginalized, underrepresented students. Through education, their own socioeconomic status is improved, and ultimately provides greater stability for their communities. The Department of State directly supports exchange programs that make international educational experiences accessible for people representing the full diversity of communities across the United States and abroad. We seek greater diversity in international study, more diverse students, more diverse locations of study, and more diverse types of degrees and academic institutions. For example, the Department of State's Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship Program offers scholarships to U.S. undergraduate students who receive Pell Grants to support their academic studies or career-oriented internships abroad. Such international exchange is intended to better prepare U.S. students to assume significant roles in an increasingly global economy and interdependent world. Because of the importance of international education as a public diplomacy tool, the Department of State actively promotes educational exchanges and student mobility worldwide through a range of programs at the undergraduate, graduate, and research scholar level. From ECA exchange programs alone, there are 384 current or former heads of state, 63 Nobel laureates, and thousands of leaders across the private and nonprofit sectors worldwide. A broad worldview is an essential characteristic of leadership in the 21st century. We believe that study abroad can increase American competitiveness by enabling U.S. students to acquire language skills as well as the regional and global perspectives necessary to succeed in the 21st century. And international education not only contributes to the fabric of our society, but also to the U.S. economy. This year, $27 billion was contributed to our economy at the local, state, and national levels through payments for tuition, housing, and other costs. International education is for everyone. It prepares our students for the globalized 21st century workforce and supports strong economies in the United States and around the world. Among the many ways the State Department supports efforts to bring more qualified international students to the United States is through Education USA, our network of over 400 advising centers in 170 countries. Education USA provides international students with accurate, comprehensive, and current information about studying in the United States, the broad range of programs offered at U.S. institutions, and how to apply for admission. In 2013, Education USA website had over 1.2 million unique visitors, and over 2,200 institutions had login access to the Education USA network. As Open Doors reports, in 2013-2014, nearly 900,000 international students studied in the United States, attracted to the excellence and diversity of our country's higher education. U.S. degrees in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics continue to be the global gold standard, while the U.S. community college and undergraduate liberal arts education models are of growing international interest. STEM education and joint research enables citizens and scientists to address such 21st century challenges as climate change, pandemic disease, energy security, food security, and cybersecurity. Over the past 15 years, the overall number of international students in the U.S. has grown 72.1%. On the flip side, nearly 300,000 U.S. students participated in education abroad for credit in 2012-2013. U.S. student participation in education abroad has more than tripled over the past 2 decades. But there is still room for growth on both sides. International students consist of only 4% of the total U.S. higher education population, and less than 10% of U.S. students study abroad during their academic career. I want to express how much the Department of State values our partnership with the U.S. higher education community, because while we can help offer support for study abroad, we rely on U.S. colleges and universities to promote international study on their campuses and to develop curricula that includes study abroad as a key component. We urge U.S. schools to do even more to make study abroad a reality for their students and to welcome even more international students to their campuses. By encouraging international students to enrich our campuses and by stimulating American students to go and study abroad, we educate the next generation of world leaders. We bring global perspectives together to live and to learn, and promote economic strength and security by ensuring young people can get jobs in the global economy of the future. So just as Rania has taken her opportunity to build a bridge with the Bridge to Terabithia, we encourage U.S. students and we encourage students around the world to build bridges of their own by studying abroad. Thank you all for being here with us today.